What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in today. Today, I'm going to be continuing my series of the for draftable players coming out of college. Today, I'm going to be doing the edge rushers slash outside linebackers. But before I get into that, if you're new to my channel, please make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. This way, you'll know when I post new content. And everyone, please like this episode and share it across all social media platforms. You guys are really helping me grow my channel, and I really appreciate that. So thanks a lot. Now, with the edge rushers, outside linebackers, these players, pretty much come off the edge on the defensive line, on the defensive side of the ball. They're usually outside linebackers or stand-up defensive ends. Um, can play in the 3-4. Some can play in the 4-3, so they can play at the second level and still get pressure from the second level in terms of getting after the quarterback or getting pressure into the backfield. But these are my edge rushers. With that being said, let me get into the countdown. My number 10 player is Derek Hall from Auburn University. He's 6'3" and 255 pounds. Next, I have Tuli Piloto from USC, 6'4", 290 pounds. We have Will McDonald from Iowa State, 6'3", 240 pounds. BJ Ojolari from LSU, 6'3", 250. And Nolan Smith from Georgia, 6'3", 235. All right, so those are the first five that I have, 10 through 6. Coming in at number 5 from Army, it's Andre Carter. He's 6'7", 260 pounds, 22 years old. He's long, lean, and fast, athletic, agile, and mobile. He has a lightning fast first step, so he's very quick off the ball when he's lined up on the edge. He does play with very good bend off the edge. He has quick hands, so he's quick to really try and get his hands onto the offensive player to get control. In plays, whenever a play is away from him or gets past him, he adjusts very well and he recovers to the play. He moves very well from sideline to sideline. He has a good ability transitioning from power to speed and speed to power. He's patient, will let plays develop before dissecting and attacking the plays. So, in other words, he'll see what's going on, if need be, and then get after it. He doesn't just always run crazy after the play. He's very good in the pass coverage. He has very good pass coverage skills for an outside linebacker, as he's able to stick with the running backs or the tight ends. Um, During my scouting, I did see where he ran with the running back up the sideline. He was on the edge, took 2 steps towards the quarterback, turned and peeled to get after the running back who flared past him, closed the window, turned his head, got his hands up, deflected the ball into towards his teammate who intercepted the ball and returned it deep into the opposition's territory. So he's able to do that. He was also able to stick with the tight end up the seam. So he does very well in pass coverage. He's good at causing turnovers and deflection. Several times, passes were deflected at the line of scrimmage, but he also had his hand in there causing fumbles, and he has a constant motor. Now, his need for improvement is number one, he's lean, so there may be questions about his ability to handle the point of attack with the block in blocking. So, being that he's lean, he does need to bulk up a little bit more to get stronger and to be able to handle that. The consistency with the level of the competition. Being that he played at Army, they played an independent schedule, but a lot of their games, varied. They played Power Five, as well as a lot of Group of Five. So, there may be questions about that. In his gameplay, he does tend to play high. His pass rushing and defense, that part of his game far exceeds his run defense. So he definitely needs to improve there because teams are going to run at him if that's all he is a pass rusher. Um, he needs to improve with his hand arm extension when taking on his blocks. So, in other words, once he gets his hands onto the offensive player, he needs to do a better job of locking out. You would have figured that, being that he plays against Navy and Air Force and also practice against Army, that would be one of the better aspects of his game, but it's not. He definitely needs to improve on that. And finally, there's going to be questions about the military commitment. Will he be available during the regular season? Because of course, if he's called into active duty, you know, no football team wants to, take him away from, his commitment to the United States Army. We all appreciate what he does. So, but there is going to be questions about that. Coming in at number 4 is Felix Enudike Uzoma from Kansas State, 6'4", 255. He's 21 years old. Now his strengths are he's strong, quick, and he does play with violent hand. He's versatile and athletic, so he can play, either side of the edge position. There has been occasions where he did bump in on certain passing situations to give that speed rush. He has excellent change of direction and has good use of pursuit angles. He has a very good football IQ as he's able to dissect plays quickly and then make a play on the football. He does a great job of attacking and playing double teams. So offensive linemen will try to double team him, but he's very stout and it's hard to get him off the point of attack or drive him back with the double team. And there's times that he easily splits the double team with it playing with his hands, attacking, one man and shedding the other with the other hand and not allowing them to squeeze down to make it doubly hard for him. He's a constant worker as he's always constantly moving. He doesn't always stay blocked and he's always getting after the football. He's excellent at deflecting the ball at the line of scrimmage. He has good use of speed to power and power to speed, exploding into blockers, forcing them backwards on that initial contact. Um, he does have good use of hands when he is battling the offensive line. He plays with very good strength and he's a very physical player. Now he does need to where he needs to improve is like I said with his hand usage. He definitely needs to get better with that because there are times that he definitely needs to work on swatting an offensive lineman's hands away a little bit more quickly, not allowing them sometimes to get into him as much. He does need to improve off getting off the snap because sometimes he's slow once the ball is snapped, which goes into the previous aspect of the hand, where if you're quick off the ball, and sometimes the offensive linemen are not able to get their hands on you. He has to improve his bend off the edge because he's a little bit rigid in his line play, so he does have to get a little bit better with his flexibility, and he has to continue to work on his pass rush and his counter moves. Now he does have a slightly above spin average spin move, especially when facing the double teams, but he can improve on that along with the other aspects of playing as an edge defender. All right, coming in at number 3, Isaiah Folksky from Notre Dame, 6'5", 265 pounds, 22 years old. Now, Folksky plays with good strength. Now, as teams find it difficult when it's running towards him, he's very stout in the run game. So when you're running at him, he definitely does a good job setting the edge and also disengaging and making a play on the ball. He's a very physical player and has the ability to dominate and cause havoc against the offenses, especially in that run game. He does a great job of being violent and physical with his hands and getting his hands onto the offensive lineman first. He does very well extending his arms, locking him out, and then discarding the blocker so that way he can make a play on the football. When he gets his hands onto the ball carrier, they find it difficult to get out of his grasp. So, I mean, he's a very good tackler in that aspect. Once he dissects the play, Folksy is actually fast to the ball. So once he sees it, he gets after it. He will pursue the football all over the field of play. There was a play against USC where the ball was thrown downfield, and they were about maybe 10, 15 yards downfield from him, and he chased it down. The ball actually went to Jordan Addison, and he made a play on the ball, tackling Addison, causing them to fumble, even though USC did recover. Um, and in his needs for improvement, he has good bend off the edge. It's just not as an elite as his skill set represents. I mean, he does have the skill set to say that he has an elite bend. He just needs to improve on that and improve on his flexibility. He needs to refine his pass rush counter move because he won't be able to just bull rush offensive tackles in the NFL. He definitely has to come up with counter moves, whether it's a head fake inside, swatting the hands consistently, stemming inside and then spinning back outside, but he needs to improve there. He needs to play with better leverage and not allow offensive tackles to wash him. So when they get the opportunity to wash him, he gets washed. So he needs to do better with leverage and getting a lot more stout. He needs to learn when to play all out and at other times get better and gain better control and be less reckless. So what do I mean by that? There's a saying that guys do that it is said play balls to the wall. And basically what that means is just go out constantly, play fast, play fast, play fast. There are times when you need to know when to set your opponent up, come at him a little bit slowly, and then attack him and explode into him. Just change the speed will force the offensive lineman. It will mess with them in terms of their blocking schemes and their blocking play. Because if you're coming fast all the time, then you slow, they hedge, then they can lunge. Just little things like that that he needs to improve to get better on. All right, so that's Isaiah Folksy. Coming in at number two, Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech, 6'6", 275 pounds, 21 years of age. He's big, long, strong, and fast for his size. I mean, when you look at him, he looks massive for an edge rusher. He has a good stout build, which helps enhance his power. He's smart and does a good job sifting through the trash to get to the football. In other words, if there's a lot going on around him, he doesn't get caught up with a lot of the stuff that's going inside. He can definitely see and dissect and understand where the ball is and make a play on the ball. He has a good use of change of direction with the pass rush, so he can set somebody up like I was talking about, Folksy. He can set you up coming outside and get the offensive lineman turned that way and then stem it inside and make a play beeline to the quarterback. So he does a good job with that. He's very agile and athletic. He has good use of angles to cause the offensive tackles to lose balance. He has great hand placement with his power rush. So, once he explodes with his hands into the offensive lineman, he can get them lifted and get them off balance and actually sometimes and put them on their back. He has a good ability to out leverage an offensive tackle who's working to gain an anchor on Wilson. So if the offensive lineman is working and you see his legs start to spread, trying to get a little bit wider so this way he can brace himself. He does a good job of out leveraging him and still driving him back into the quarterback. He has very good extension. He has good timing and a good get off on the snap. He does very well in pursuing plays, and he's one of the better tacklers in the game, especially for a big man. So he's fundamentally sound in his tackling. He's a versatile edge player who can play in. He can play in the even front or an odd front. So 4-3, 3-4 doesn't matter. And he has great bend off the edge. Now his needs for improvement is like most defenders transitioning from college to the pros is he needs to develop his move game and his counter moves a little bit more. He has the basic foundation there. So with more practice and more work, he can become elite with his pass rushing. He has to develop a level of consistency in his game. Example is playing with good low pad every play. He has to improve on his run defense, and he has to develop a better utilization of his hand. It's there if he enhances it. So that's what I mean by becoming an elite. So uh, Tyree Wilson is my number two. And coming in at number one is Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama, 6'4", 245, 21 years of age. He has long arms with a long body, plays with great extension. He has a great ability of getting his hands on the ball at the last moment. In other words, in pass rushing situations, sack fumbles. He's extremely athletic, agile, and fast. He has an explosive first step, one of the best in the country. He has an elite bend off the edge. If you want to see somebody with good bend, watch him. Watch Will Anderson. He will definitely show you. He plays with good pad level. He initiates contacts, works quickly at getting his hand inside of the offensive lineman, and eventually gaining control of them. Especially for a guy 245 pounds and sometimes going up against guys 100 pounds heavier than him, but he does a great job of getting control of them. He's violent and physical with his hands. He adjusts quickly on a play, recovering if he's caught out of position. It's ability of dominating an offensive lineman using different moves in his game with his most effective being the speed rush or the spin move. Those are his most effective that I've seen him so far using. So he does good work in his one-on-ones or versus the double teams, not allowing himself to be driven out or attacking one and stemming the doubler. He's a great technician with the different edge techniques. He does an extremely good job getting his hands onto the offensive lineman and controlling him and not allowing himself to consistently be cross-faced. So, in other words, if an offensive lineman is trying to angle and take one of his shoulders, he doesn't let that offensive lineman or tight end or whoever cross his face. He does a good job of getting his hands on them to control them and stepping and not allowing them to hook them. He almost hooks them, and then he's able to make a play on the ball. Now he can get caught peeking and playing out of position, so he needs to do a better job at reading and playing his keys. He needs to get stronger to handle NFL blocks with his current weight. Will he be able to sustain in the NFL consistently? This isn't college, so you may go up against a guy 340 week and the next week 285. And in the NFL, they're pretty much going to be 315, 330 every week. So he needs to get bulk his weight up to be able to handle it. His balance, he needs to balance out the good use of technique and not always rely on his athleticism and speed. So he has the techniques, he has the fundamentals, but he just, he shouldn't always use this, rely on his speed, mix it up. And how adept is he at dropping into pass coverage? He can handle both man and zone whenever. Can he handle both man and zone whenever it's needed? So that's my top 10 in terms of my edge rushers. Will Anderson Jr. number one, Tyree Wilson is number two, Isaiah Folksy is number three, Felix Anudike Uzoma is number four, Andre Carter is number five, Nolan Smith is number six, BJ Ojolari is number seven, Will McDonald is number eight, Tui Poloto is number nine, and Derek Hall is number 10. So, what do you guys think in terms of my top 10 rankings? You know, is there someone you feel I left out? Do you disagree with the positioning? My assessment. Let me know what you guys think. In the comments section. I really appreciate it. So that's it for today. I'm going to be continuing to work on the other ones. Hopefully, I'm looking to get the linebackers out hopefully by tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. I really appreciate your time. And again, like I always say in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Have a good one.